The US President Donald Trump has formally recognised Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. It sets in motion a plan to move the American embassy from Tel Aviv to the fiercely contested Holy City. The decision has been condemned across the Arab world, with Palestinian leaders saying the US can no longer be a mediator in Middle East peace efforts. It remains to be seen how President Trump's move will change the course of peace negotiations. In a moment, we'll be getting the views of a former US Middle East peace negotiator. But first, to put the decision in context, here's our reporter and former Middle East correspondent, Anne Barker.
President Trump says the decision on Jerusalem is nothing more or less than a recognition of reality.
Israel is a sovereign nation with the right, like every other sovereign nation, to determine its own capital.
And it's true, Jerusalem has been the seat of modern government almost since Israel's creation in 1948 and the heart of Jewish culture since ancient times. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says President Trump's announcement represents an historic day.
Jerusalem has been the capital of the Jewish people for 3,000 years. It's been the capital of Israel for nearly 70 years. It was here that our temple stood, our kings ruled, our prophets preached. Jerusalem has been the focus of our hopes, our dreams, our prayers for 3 millennia.
But in a city so ancient, there's more than the one reality that Donald Trump acknowledges. The situation is far more complex. For a start, Jerusalem's old city is holy not only for Jews. It's where Christians say Jesus was crucified. The site containing the Al-Aqsa Mosque is the third most sacred in Islam. It's where the Prophet Muhammad is said to have ascended to heaven, and it's why the United Nations in 1947, while creating one state for Arabs and another for Jews, voted to keep Jerusalem an international city. Neither side could declare it their capital.
The resolution of the Dutch Committee for Palestine.
Since then, foreign governments have kept their embassies in Tel Aviv.
The resolution of the Dutch Committee for Palestine was adopted by 33 votes.
But both sides rejected the UN decision and went to war. Jordan annexed the old city and Jerusalem's eastern quarter. For 20 years it denied Jews access, until the Six-Day War in 1967.
Soldiers reached the western wall of the Temple Mount, the holiest place in Judaism.
Israel now controlled all of the land from the Jordan River to the sea, including the West Bank, Gaza and Jerusalem's old city.
In nearly 20 years of Jordanian rule, no Jew had been allowed in the area.
But 5 decades on, the UN stance remains unchanged. Israel's occupation of the West Bank and East Jerusalem is illegal, and the UN doesn't recognise Jerusalem as the capital. Saeb Erekat is the Palestinians' chief negotiator.
Jerusalem is occupied territories. No country on earth have recognized Israel annexation of East Jerusalem except for President Trump tonight. He is in total violation of international law, human rights, and he's turning the conflict between Palestinians and Israelis from a political one into a religious one. That's a very dangerous situation.
Despite the occupation, Jerusalem today is not only a Jewish city. 1 in 5 Israelis is Arab, effectively Palestinians with Israeli citizenship. And beyond the green line that separates Israel from occupied territory, Palestinians still make up much, if not most, of the population in East Jerusalem. For them, it's unthinkable their own capital could be anywhere else in a future Palestinian state. Jerusalem is ours, says this woman. It belongs to all Arabs, Muslims and Christians to pray in. But the other reality too, of course, is that a two-state solution is an impossible goal. The changing facts on the ground mean there's no longer a contiguous land for Palestinians to create their own state. And the fight for Jerusalem is just one of 4 key sticking points to a peace agreement. The expansion of Jewish settlements in the West Bank, the fate of Palestinians who fled the Holy Land in 1948, and Israel's insistence on a military presence along the Jordanian border all pose their own set of challenges. Nevertheless, Donald Trump may think he's resolved one of the most intractable issues at the heart of the conflict. Time will tell if he's right.
Anne Barker reporting.